Cody Rhodes has started to warn us. He started to drop little hints and teases that there is a change coming to his overall character, and I'm here for it. I can't wait to see what Cody's gonna do. Is he gonna go full out heel big bad guy, or is it going to have a little bit of nuance? Is it going to be different? Is it going to be a slow burn when he eventually does become a full-out bad guy? Cody Rhodes has been the ultra good guy, American Nightmare, babyface, but when he was even in AEW, we saw Cody as a heel. On the indies, he was doing some bad guy work. And while he was in AEW, that heel run that he was doing, or not doing, he was very meta about it, not giving people what they were wanting, acknowledging that he had turned bad. But as he's been in WWE for the last couple of years, it's been the Cody Rhodes show, where everything is Cody. He's got a bus full of vodka, former WWE champion, finishing the story, the poster boy for the company. But as time has gone by, and we've had a few years now of Cody in this huge story arc with The Rock and Roman Reigns losing the championship to John Cena, and where we are today, right now, there are little tiny moments that seem to be building up for a potential Cody turn. Now, where does this kind of start? Because the fans have not, by all accounts, turned on Cody. No one's really begging for a Cody heel turn. Maybe you are, but there isn't this giant outrage when Cody comes out, where the fans are booing him or they're split on him. You listen to any WWE crowd, the live shows, the PLEs, they are loving him. But I believe that Cody is smart enough, and WWE is smart enough on the creative side, to see that there is going to be a point very soon when they need to flip things. If we rewind things a little bit, let's go back to when The Rock was showing up periodically, just randomly, just making his appearances. He was showing up at Bad Blood. He was showing up on SmackDown. Before we had the John Cena heel turn, The Rock was showing up, and we finally thought that we were going to get much more of a final boss story between him and even Cody Rhodes. When The Rock showed up on SmackDown that one time, he got in the ring and he asked Cody Rhodes for his soul. You want the championship? He wants his insides, guys. And the large internet wrestling community and other fans were really just confused by it. Didn't really understand The Rock, what he was trying to say and convey in that giant long-winded speech, but he basically wanted Cody Rhodes to be his corporate champion. I don't think it was well described or laid out by The Rock by any means, but that seemed to be the idea of it, giving Cody an ultimatum, giving him a time limit for Elimination Chamber. Now, I liked the idea a little bit. I didn't like the execution at all. I like the idea of Cody having to go and side with The Rock, or wanting to side with The Rock. But Cody at the time was still WWE champion. He had everything. So The Rock coming in and saying, become a bad guy and align with me and I'll give you, he was a genie. That's basically what The Rock was trying to do. He was the genie in Aladdin, and he was going to grant him all his wishes. But the problem is that at the time, Cody had everything. WWE champion, he's on the cover of everything, he's Mr. WWE, he's main eventing WrestleManias and PLEs. What more does Cody in the character really need? Why would he need anything from The Rock? So we didn't get that. We got Elimination Chamber, and that's where we saw Cody Rhodes turn down the offer from The Rock, and apparently Travis Scott as well. And then John Cena was the one who made the turn. Now, in interviews since then, we did find out from The Rock and Cody and others that seems like the plan was for Cody to turn heel, but they decided to pivot that because WWE wasn't really into it, and they didn't go with that, and they said, what about John Cena? And here we are now with the John Cena heel turn in his final run before his retirement. Now at WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes lost the WWE Championship to John Cena, took a little bit of time off, came back at Saturday Night's Main Event to confront John Cena once again, and it has felt since losing the title that Cody has been on a path to reclaim his spot at the top. As he said at Night of Champions, he wants to be the quarterback and get his ball back. Someone took his ball on the playground and he's not here for it. Now, Cody has made other comments though, hinting at his character and changing it. And since he came back at Saturday Night's Main Event, he hasn't changed his character. He's still the babyface. He's still the clear-cut good guy. And he's going up against John Cena, who's kind of in that in-between role right now, that tweener role, because fans are enjoying that it's their last time seeing Cena, and they're also trying to boo him because the character is supposed to be the bad guy. But as the months have gone by, Cody then goes to Fanatics. He gets an interview done, probably 1 out of 50. They had one interview with Key Adams where they talked about his character and could we ever see Cody Rhodes being the bad guy. Cody made some interesting comments here about that. He talked about how he wanted to be the good guy forever and still does. He would love to go down that path, but he also sees and recognizes that The fans, the audience can get tired of that. Coming out, doing the whoa, smiling, everything like that, to the big baby face. The fans might not be here for it for much longer. So it was an interesting little interview they did. And they asked, obviously, how long until we see Cody Rhodes go bad? Now, he gave a nebulous timeline of a year to 3 years, but I think it could actually be sooner than that. And in that little tiny press interview, Cody did make some interesting comments about how heels nowadays, it's the cool bad guys. We like to cheer the bad guys. The bad guys do the cool stuff, so we cheer them because they get to be unleashed, have more mic time, they're cooler, they're more fun, they do nasty things, but we kind of enjoy it, which then ultimately turns them into a baby face. That's why sometimes it's really great to see somebody be a heel and then become a baby face. Roman Reigns is a great example of this. Babyface Roman Reigns did not work for years until he became the tribal chief with Paul Heyman, entrenched himself in the bloodline. That entire story arc is a clear-cut, dominant heel bad guy for years. But the crowd loved Roman at that point, because he was just a lot of fun. And you fast forward to Roman Reigns today, now he's the good guy, despite doing nothing but bad guy things for years. And so for Cody, his comments at Fanatics were speaking about this, and that for him, he doesn't want to be the cool bad guy that everyone's ultimately going to cheer. He recognizes through the history of wrestling that to be a bad guy, a true villain, a heel, that you have to be booed, that you want people to not watch you. And as he said, if he looks at Twitter and social media and everything like that, the engagement is up and no one's really clamoring for him to get off TV. No one's really against it in the big picture of things. But he even recognizes that to be a great bad guy, he has to figure out a way in order to get the crowd to really hate him, to not want him on TV, to groan and moan that they see Cody Rhodes once again on their television. Because that's going to make for a great bad guy where you're gonna have an ultimate good guy take him down and the crowd go crazy for it. So a Cody Rhodes heel turn could be much more slow, methodical, and plotting, and not something that you see flipped on a dime. In the era of Vince McMahon, we would often see characters on TV go from being a straightforward good guy to a bad guy the next week on Raw. You would have The Rock side with a corporation in a shocking moment in the Attitude Era, and then he's just a bad guy like a minute later. They have a complete 180 of their character. And as the years went by with Vince, the storytelling got a little bit worse in some cases, and then it wasn't even really compelling. They were just bad. What we see today with TKO, with WWE, with Triple H and his creative is, in large part, they take a slower approach. Kevin Owens, I think, is a great example of this as he was feuding with Cody Rhodes. Kevin Owens became a bad guy, but it took months. Everybody still liked Kevin Owens, but they were justifying all of the reasons why he was fighting with Cody, why he was frustrated with him, leading to a huge match at the Royal Rumble, the Winged Eagle title involved, all this jealousy and issues and bitterness Kevin Owens had. It was good character development. And I think WWE would need to do the exact same thing with Cody in order for it to work, but they gotta take it up a notch. Cody can't just come out with black hair and a different suit, everything is dark and menacing on the next week's SmackDown or Raw. I think we are already seeing that. Look at Night of Champions. Cody Rhodes wins King of the Ring. But after winning the crown and holding it up, he gets on the mic and he talks about people like Randy Orton and CM Punk, people that are his allies, that he's on the same page with, that he kind of thanks them for the work they do. But it's almost in this snarky, condescending, egotistical way. And Randy Orton even gives Cody the look after the match, like, what are you talking about? Cody, in the way he presents, he's great at that, where he himself thinks he's just doing the honorable good guy thing, but you feel like there's so much ego involved. How he's kind of patting people like Randy Orton on the back, like, thanks for coming. But then gives the big line about wanting to get the ball back. He's gonna do whatever it takes to get the title back. This is where I think it gets interesting for Cody. So at SummerSlam, we are going to be getting John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship one more time. But that match, I don't think is going to be as clean cut as just having Cody Rhodes beat the evil John Cena, and off we go into Survivor Series and the WrestleMania season with Cody as your champion. Cody Rhodes may not become champion at SummerSlam. Cena may hold on to the belt, but there's a couple of ways and reasons why that could happen. But Cody did tweet something out a little cryptic recently, where he said, "Don't flinch. Thank you all for riding with me all this time. Love you for it. Excited for what we do next." Now, this could mean many things. Could mean nothing, because Cody, as we have heard and it's been reported, Cody is gonna go off and do some movies like Street Fighter. He's gonna be in another film as well. He's getting those opportunities, the Hollywood opportunities. This could play in to Cody's ultimate turn. But this specific tweet, this messaging, it could mean nothing, but it's fun to pick it apart a little bit. It could be for going off and having opportunities and being able to do different things outside of WWE, but it could also be leveraged and be talking about Cody thanking everybody up until now because something new is about to happen within the ropes, within WWE. Part of me just leans that it's towards him, real life Cody Rhodes, being able to get different opportunities like get a movie role, and that he's thanking his fans for doing that, being able to do that. I would like to see Cody then just kind of take it a step further, a little bit more and a little bit more online, where he's putting out more of this cryptic messaging. Now, I don't think every single week leading up to SummerSlam, we're gonna see a difference in Cody Rhodes, but we might see a little bit of a difference in the fans. The last time Cody and Cena got in the ring together and they had a face-to-face, you had John Cena getting very, very cheered and Cody got booed. Now, this could be just a one-off with the crowd and where they were, that they were just loving John Cena and they really wanted to love him and not so much Cody at the time, because Cody's going to any other show and he's getting cheered like crazy. But this next feud, this next chapter between Cena and Cody could be the interesting one because of how the crowd reacts. The crowd was enjoying John Cena versus CM Punk, and they were cheering John Cena during all of that while he's clearly supposed to be the bad guy and Punk was the big good guy. And Cody's character is different than Punk's. Cody is that white meat babyface, smiling all the time, he's all suited up. And Cena, depending how he handles Cody this time around, we could see Cody getting a little bit more booed because Cena might be a little bit more entertaining and Cody is getting maybe a little bit more desperate. Cody Rhodes wants to get the ball back by any means necessary. So at SummerSlam, we could be seeing something different from him. There are possibilities and options here when it comes to the outcome of SummerSlam. Could we see John Cena retain? Yes, Cena could just retain by doing all the same tactics he's done before. Belt shot to the head, the low blow, sliding in after all the shenanigans going on to just get the pinfall victory, Cena holding onto that belt for as long as possible, and Cody Rhodes not turning heel, not doing anything dastardly. But we can't really have that, can we? Because we saw that at WrestleMania 41, and that match was just kind of whatever. Cody played it straight, Cena was slow, methodical, and a little bit too slow when it came to the match and the way they laid that thing out. And since then, Cena's had more shenanigans, they've done more things that are creative with the ending sequence to all of his matches. And I'm not saying it's creative if they just bring in Travis Scott once again. I think that guy's gone. They're not bringing in Travis Scott to just do a slow walk and then slap Cody. So Cena could win just clean cut and that's it. And Cody is left sitting there like he has done at the end of 2 WrestleManias where he's in shock and disbelief that he lost. That can motivate Cody to get more frustrated that he didn't get the job done at SummerSlam, that he needs to do even more, that it's not working anymore to keep doing the exact same thing over and over again because he couldn't get it done with John Cena. That still gives time, by the way, for Cena to hold on to the belt, have a couple more feuds, and maybe have a third match with Cody at Survivor Series in a big stadium show. The other option is there is a turn, a slight turn, because we saw this with John Cena where he was kind of turning. He didn't hit Punk with the belt. He threw it away. After several months, John Cena's character has adapted and he hasn't been as heelish. Whereas Cody in SummerSlam match could crank it up a little bit, knowing that he's got to do more to Cena to get the belt back. He might have to do a low blow. He might have to hit him with the belt. Things that Cody would not normally do. It doesn't have to be this full-blown heel turn where he just hit nut shots like 3 of them and decimates Cena, making Cena looking vulnerable and giving him sympathy. They could do that, it'd be shocking, but I feel like they would do something a little bit slower and more methodical with Cody's turn. Speaking of turn, you could also do the double turn. Going into SummerSlam, we have several weeks of TV where these two are going to be talking back and forth and back and forth. And those promos cannot be what we saw leading up to WrestleMania 41, where it's just, I'm gonna beat you. Cody got mad because Cena took him out at Elimination Chamber, and then it took Cody a couple of weeks before he even attacked John Cena. The lead up has to be different, and if we see little crumbs and moments of Cody getting frustrated, speaking differently, being more aggressive towards John Cena, that could play into their match where you do have Cody doing a few more things that are a little out of character, taking the turnbuckle pad off. to hit Cena on it, a low blow, using a chair, anything like that that would show us that he's pivoting a bit. And you could have all of that, and the crowd itself may do the work for you. Cody and Cena may flip entirely. And I've mentioned this in a previous video, but it can be a moment like Rock and Hogan at WrestleMania 18. Going into that, Hogan was supposed to be the bad guy, Rock is your good guy champion, and Toronto and the crowd flipped them. You could have that again. The crowd knowing that this is Cena's last SummerSlam, you're starting to come to the tail end of his heel run, the crowd really wanting to get behind him, and maybe they're just not into Cody's character, so they flip them on the spot, forcing their hand, forcing WWE and Cody and Cena to adjust on the fly. If you start hearing the boos during the match against Cody for the moves he does on Cena, and the crowd cheering for Cena every time that he hits something on Cody, then I think they need to do that double turn. Doesn't have to be super aggressive, but it should lead you to the outcome of what are they gonna do next with Cody, since he seems to be more of the bad guy. If Cody does something very dastardly bad guy-ish at SummerSlam to get that belt, then we should have it very obvious that he's going down this evil dark side path. But now he has the championship. They could do all those things, they could do none of those things, because what could also happen after SummerSlam, and it would start to make sense if they're going down this turn for Cody Rhodes, whether he has the championship or not coming out of SummerSlam. And if he doesn't, kind of work even better. But what I'm thinking is The Rock, the final boss, makes his return after SummerSlam. Getting into Survivor Series, getting into Royal Rumble season once again, maybe we start to see the final boss show up, and maybe they do start working towards this whole plan. If Cody loses at SummerSlam, he could also be written off TV because he could be going off to do those movies. Now, if he's gonna go off on a movie schedule and you don't have him on TV and he's not champion, you can play it up in the creative side that Cody is frustrated, that he lost, that he didn't get it done, so he disappears for a while to rethink everything. All he's doing is movies. But then he can come back. And when he comes back, that's when we can start to see the beginnings of him becoming a bad guy, maybe even aligning with The Rock. Because what we could see leading to, say, Survivor Series is an alliance between Rock and Cody, where it's more subtle. The Rock could be overblown and trying to get him to be just a full evil guy, but Cody could be making all of these moves towards being a heel later in the year, still doing all of the Cody things, the big entrance, the pyro, the whoa, his attire's all the same, because we saw nothing change with Cena when he became a heel. Cody just needs to change his little bit of his approach when it comes to his promos and his demeanor, where there's more ego and he's more dastardly. He's feeling more desperate. And if he goes off to Hollywood for a bit, maybe the final boss is the one that helps him out there and brings Cody over to that side. And by Survivor Series, and then into December, you're running to the very end of John Cena's run, maybe with that championship. And that's when you can maybe flip everything, where Cena is the full out babyface at the end of his run, and Cody becomes the full bad guy by the end, and then takes the title off Cena. So in Cena's final run with the championship, before he retires, who are you putting over? They could be building to put over a full heel Cody Rhodes with the help of The Rock, because he doesn't like Cena. He doesn't like how Cena became a good guy once again. And then Cody could go on maybe one of the biggest heel runs in modern WWE history.